want to try and do as writers is we want to try and make sure we avoid using fragments in our writing so that we do not confuse our readers. Video, okay?
She's a little
so we're going to take a look at just two examples.
Want to do a race with you guys?
So the first example is,
as you saw in the picture, I had
inspired by everyday objects.
So I'm going to do a race, and please do not cheat in this race because I want to see a video of you doing it. Okay.
Okay, let me read that again. If I were just to read this by itself, something's off. Something's off. Inspired by everyday objects and the lives of common people.
Notifications so when I make a video,
I'm confused. Is anybody else confused? I'm confused. Why? Because this is a fragment. I am missing either the subject or the predicate of the sentence. So, here's your model. All of this information right here is the predicate. Okay? This is describing who was inspired by everyday objects and the lives of common people. Speaking out loud over me. If you look at this predicate, it should sound familiar to you. This predicate goes along with what inspired our poet, William Carlos Williams. So in order for me just to put a subject here, all I need to do is plug in his name. He should be the subject of this sentence because he was inspired by everyday objects. So over here in my complete sentence box, I'm just going to add in his name. I'm going to add in my subject. So everybody do that with Miss Ferdine right now, please. And you should be marking this up like I am. Okay, so I'm just going to add reading this next example. Okay, with this next example, after you read it, I want you to try and identify whether what the information you see here, are you looking at the subject or the predicate? So identify what you see first, and then ask yourself, what is missing? Am I missing the predicate or am I missing the subject? Okay, so I want you to try it on your own, and you can even write in the box right here what you think is missing, and then we'll go over it together. Okay, so please try it. Miss Ferdine can't make you do this in your house. You have to take responsibility. Push yourself and try right now. Go.
You might win, my jaw hurts. Okay. Let's try something new. These are hot, so it's hard for me to eat them.
Okay, all right, time is winding down, about 5 seconds left. Just push yourself. It's just you in your house. Okay, so just push yourself, see what you could do. All right, let's try it. So, if you read over this example, first let's identify, what do we see? Do we see the subject or the predicate? So, William Carlos Williams, about the things he knew. I'm confused again. I hope everybody else is confused. I hope when you read that, you got confused, because it's an incomplete thought. There's something missing here. But I do see William Carlos Williams. So this time, I have the subject. I have the who. Look over here. About the things he knew. Now that's not the subject. That does sound like a predicate, but it's not a full predicate. There is something, my disconnect here happens right about here. There's something that's missing right there. William Carlos Williams, about the things he knew. I am missing something right here. What is it that I'm missing? Well, think about what Miss Ferdine told me a predicate is. A predicate tells what the subject is doing. It has to have a verb in it. It has to have an action word. So perhaps I'm missing the action word right here. So, what action word could I plug in right here? What verb could I put in right here to make this a complete sentence? Does anybody have an idea? What verb could I put right there to make this a complete sentence? William Carlos Williams blank about the things he knew. Anybody have an idea? I need leaders to step up right now. Y'all try it. Jade. Okay, so thank you, Jade. First of all, thank you for volunteering. I really appreciate you and being brave. So Jade, if I were to plug in is right here, ask yourself would that make sense? William Carlos Williams is about the things he knew. Brooke, what is your thought? Good job, Jade.
I would have put it like to write. William Carlos Williams like to write about things he knew.
Perfect. Okay, so yes, it has to be some kind of action, some kind of what? I don't know how else to say it besides action. It has to be some type of thing the subject is doing. Doing means a verb, means an action. Okay, so we know that William Carlos Williams wrote poems. So wrote, or what Brooke just said, writing, liked to write about, would be the verb. So if I plugged in the verb wrote, it now would complete this sentence. William Carlos Williams wrote about the things he knew. That would make it a complete sentence. So in this predicate right here, we had about half of the predicate, but we were missing that action word, that verb, to complete it. Okay? All right, so make sure that you have filled this out on your note catcher. Remember, you're going to have to show this to Miss Verdine tomorrow. Okay, so make sure it's completed. All right, guys? So as you continue to work on your essay today, I want you just to keep these things in mind and try your best to be writing in complete sentences. Now, the best way you can check yourself if you're writing in complete sentences is after you finish writing your paragraph. Obviously, we talked about how you go back through and you reread. Now, after you reread, or as you're rereading, if you're confused by any of your sentences and what you've written, it probably means you have not written into your essay, okay? So I really need everybody to square up in your screen and be with Miss Verdine, okay? Remember, there's only one of me and about 20 of you, and it's all virtual right now. So writing is definitely a challenge virtually, but we can meet the challenge, but I just need everybody to stay focused, okay? All right, so today you are gonna be looking at writing and drafting your proof paragraph 1. Okay, so yesterday you worked on your introduction, all of this up here, okay? And you wrote your introduction yesterday. Today, we are now moving on to the second paragraph of the essay, which was the yellow color coding, okay? The second paragraph of the essay is called Proof Paragraph 1. Now, keep in mind, Ms. Verdine wanted you to connect the number ones together. So, for example, when you think Proof Paragraph 1, it connects to point 1. Your poet to write poetry from your note catcher, okay? So, today, your goal is for your next paragraph of your essay is to write and give evidence and reasons to support your point 1, to support what inspired your poet to write poetry, okay? Now, in saying that, I need everybody to kind of like get their ears nice and big and give Miss Verdine bug eyes so I know you're really listening. This is very, very important right now. In saying that, I want you to notice when you look at the model essay for paragraph 2, notice how all the details and evidence in paragraph 2, keep giving me bug eyes, are not the evidence from the poems. Let me say that again. Nothing in paragraph 2 should be the evidence from the poems. Now, Ms. Verdine, what do you mean by that? Okay, let me switch real quick and show you. On your note catcher for your expert poet, here was your point 1, what inspired your poet, okay? Over here with your group, you came up with at least 2, if not 3, poems and the evidence that supported what your poet was inspired by. What I am telling you right now is that this box is not included in proof paragraph 1. So today, do not No, no, no. Do not tell Miss Verdine the evidence that you see in the poems to support your point one. This box is for tomorrow. I need everybody to hear me on that. Do not let me see you write the poem evidence today. This is tomorrow, so block that off, not today, okay? So, Miss Verdine, if you're telling me that I have to give reasons and evidence to support my point one and what inspired my poet, but you're also telling me I can't use my evidence in here that I researched to support it, what am I going to be writing in my proof paragraph one? Where do I find that information? Well, children, I am so glad you asked. Let me show you. In your proof paragraph one, there are two different areas I want you to look at to help you create your paragraph today. You can either come back to your background box, okay, and see if there's any information you plugged in here that could support what inspired your poet. So take a look at this box again in your note catcher. You may or may not have anything. Okay, it just depends. But you need to make sure that any information you pull out of this background box does support what inspired your poet. If they don't match up, don't plug it in your paragraph, because you're just going to have to correct that later on, because Miss Verdine's going to be checking that, okay? So you have to make sure